and welcome to my podcast. I survived La Chancla, episode 8. So again, thank you for coming to check out episode 8. This one is going to be on a sensitive topic. It's going to be kind of piggybacking off of last week's, which is about Maddie Soto's death of her case. So it kind of piggybacks off that. And the silence, our culture may have silenced us not to speak on this issue because it's easier to put it under the rug than to deal with it. Oh, it is so much easier, but not worth it. So before we go into that, I would like to remind you that you can go check out my episodes on all major podcast platforms. Go check them out and subscribe. Show me some love. So like I said, you can go check it out every Friday. Every Friday I'll be dropping an episode. And you can also go hit me up on Facebook, Chancla Survivor. Yeah, go check it out. You can leave me a message. Let me know where you're from. If you can relate to anything that I speak on today. Um, anything. Share your nosy neighbor experience. Um, that is a segment where at the end of my show, I will end the segment with a nosy neighbor. That's where I share a story of one of my neighbors. And I have a lot of them. Some are crazy, some are crazier. So stay tuned to the end for that. So, like I said, this is a sensitive topic. So, if sexual child abuse is a trigger for you, please handle this how you feel best for yourself. And just know that you're not alone. Like like I said, this is a topic that nobody wants to speak on. Nobody wants to go through because it comes with a lot of changes, a lot of a lot of dividing of family, a lot of not speaking to people anymore. It's a lot of loss. It's a loss of a lot of things, but you can't keep it inside. It's not your fault that it happened to you. It's not your fault. No matter what, it was not your fault. So, me, I have you had childhood trauma? Not everyone has childhood trauma. I realized that this recently. Not everybody goes through it, and that's great. I just always assumed that somebody was, you know what I'm saying? But not somebody, but I just thought it was like because it wasn't spoken on so much, you didn't know when it happened or like on another family or anything. As I got older, I realized that some of my friends were going through the exact same thing I was going through at the exact same time. But since we didn't make those kind of conversations normalized, we didn't make them normal. We didn't speak on that. So we could have been like each other's support had we known that what the other one was going through, but we didn't. We could still be support now, though. Unfortunately, this is something that creeps up on you if not handled correctly, I guess. Creeps up on you as an adult at the worst fucking times when you're already going through something and you just don't know what it is that's getting you that extra anger or you're starting to feel different resentment and you just don't know why. It's just like you might have to just like stop and take a look back. um I have been dealing with this for many years because I never wanted to deal with it. I wanted to just mask the pain. Give me some alcohol, give me some dope. I mean, I didn't want to speak about it. I did not want to think about it, and I did not sure as hell did not want to feel it. I Alcohol and drugs were my best friends for many years. I just masked the pain, masked the pain. I never took care of the root of the problem, which was me getting molested as a child. Um, I have recently began, a healing process. This is part of my healing process is sharing my story, and I hope I can at least help one person. Like I said, this is a fucked up situation. Nobody wants to deal with this. Okay, so growing up, I was, what I'm saying, I was just a normal kid, always running around hyper playing games, and I liked school. I liked reading. I like playing out with, playing with my ugly primas all day, just be fucking baseball, playing outside grandma's house, just normal kid shit. But then when something happens to you that you don't even know how to grasp or deal with, it changes it changes you forever. I was molested. I want to say like 5 or 6, somewhere around there. I blocked it out for a long time, masking it. So I don't remember the exact dates or nothing, but I remember one of my mom's nephews um, used my mom to get me to go inside his house, saying he had something for my mom for me to take to her, and I would believe him. And so when I went in there, I came out scarred for life. My innocence shattered. I had no need to see or do the things that he made me do. I was just confused, like why? Like what is this? Like I don't know. It was scary. He also did tell me that he would not, that if I told my parents, that they would not believe me. And I was kind of going through a lying phase. Like I guess I would just lie about everything because I remember my mom, would tell me all the time, "You better be telling the truth. You better be telling the truth." And so I kind of like believed him. No, I did believe him. So it went on for some time, years, until I couldn't no more. I remember just broke down and I told my mom. And it so happened to be that his sister was there with my mom. And when I said it, she didn't look too surprised. I don't know the history there. I just know that he has a lot of victims. I don't know who the victims are. Um, Not for sure. Like I don't know. Like I said, because it was something that we never spoke on. Even as adults, when we saw each other, my cousins or whatever, we didn't speak. We don't speak on that or anything. But and like I said, I've heard stories, but I don't know like for sure. But I just know he had a lot of them. He also, I remember he had these two little girls, and he would tell me if I wanted to go inside and play with the girls, that they were inside. And then I went inside, and they weren't there. It was just him. I don't know. Like I just remember seeing. Oh my god! I just that fucked with me. So he ended up going to jail. Got life plus some years. That's when I didn't understand. I was like, that's like, well, I was young. Like this, I was young, so I didn't know what life meant or nothing. I just knew, man, it was a lot of years. So there we're done with that. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Moving on. Just happy go lucky my life, right? That lasts too fucking long. Till one of the most trusted people in my life. My dad's really good close friend and my aunt's husband. I honestly do not understand how he would feel safe or comfortable coming and touching me when I just put one in jail. A few years, maybe 2 years, a year, whatever. He just went to jail. I snitched on him. So you're coming to me and you're gonna touch me and you're gonna expect different. I mean, that's fucking insane. So yeah, he did it. He started touching me when I was staying at my grandma's house, and I just don't understand how anybody didn't hear, because in that house back in the day, you would walk and half the house would move. It was like creaky, it wasn't like unsteady. It was just like you could hear the steps. Even after my grandma died, you still heard her steps. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, why, God, are you doing this to me? Why am I going through this? I think that, with along with some other stuff, like my mom, losing my mom and my dad, I have I question my faith. I don't question my faith. I just question the faith. um, because I'm an innocent child. I didn't do nothing to nobody. Why did I deserve this? Twice. Like, I didn't do nothing to anybody at that age. And this, by the time I'm 10, it's already happened 3 times, 4 times. By the time I'm 10, 11 years old, happened 4 times. So when this motherfucker, I remember my dad getting upset, my mom, them running over there to my grandma's house. My dad was in the midst of beating up my uncle. Somebody came and took him off. And I remember at the time the um the sheriff was my mom's uncle. And so when he got there, because my mom called the cops, when he got there, my mom later on told me that they told him to leave the town and let them investigate, and then that later on he could come back. My dad's like, yeah, right. He left at that moment. He came back 30 minutes later. Um, like I said, this was a person that was really trusted. I've seen him and my dad get drunk so many times. So my mom and my dad did not speak to my aunt and my uncle for a while. Well, my dad never spoke to them again. My mom spoke to her sister. Um, but my dad never spoke to them again. That was the ultimate betrayal. And when my dad died, I noticed he was a pallbearer. I had this look on my face. I guess that my mom could already tell when I looked at her. She was just like telling me to be, like not to cause a scene or whatever, because a scene I was gonna cause. How dare you come to my dad's funeral? Like, when my dad didn't fuck with you. You didn't try to apologize. Never apologized to me. And you sure as hell didn't try to apologize to my dad. But you want to come and be a pallbearer? Like, what kind of shit is that? My dad didn't fuck with you. So why are you trying to? Anyways, that really hurt me. That really upset me, because I was like, I didn't want him to be a part of my dad's funeral. Like, why? Now I have to remember him when I fucking think of my dad, of his funeral or whatever. Um, so I had anger, like, to the point where, like, my mom, like I said, my mom saw the look on my face. She already knew I was fixing to go off, and I was like popping off at the mouth every time, like with everyone. I go into a store, you can't come back in here, because I'd be fighting with the cashier, um, because I always felt that not people were out to get me, but people were out to hurt me in some way, like they were gonna get a laugh out of it or something. It's all in my fucked up mind. And so I was gonna hurt you, or do something to you, or make you feel some type of way before you make me feel some type of way. This is all because I didn't deal with the shit. So, because this has happened to me so many times, I remember I would, for the last years of my dad's life, the last couple years, since when that had happened, after all that had happened, I remember, like, I'd be asleep on the couch and my dad would come over to visit, and he would like get in behind me on the couch, and he would just like hug me, and just cuddle with me, and I'd be like 10, 11, whatever, but he wasn't like, he would just get close to me and hug me, right? And I remember I would just be like this, like all like just like, what do you call, tensed up, and I would be like, oh my God, Dad, please don't touch me, please don't touch me, Dad, please don't touch me. I hated that I had that with my dad the last couple of years of his life. And he never touched me. I just felt that it had happened so many times and he was gonna do it too. I'm so glad he did it. Because I would have really been a fucking mess. So those were those were my years. Um, I was always just didn't give a shit. You know, I felt like I wasn't like I was dirty. I felt like I wasn't worthy of it. I have so many failed relationships. I have four baby daddies. Um, you know, I just, I like I said, these drugs and alcohol were my go-to, so I wouldn't feel the shit because I didn't know how to deal with it. And like I said, you start feeling shit, your emotions and all that, and you just don't know what it is. It took, I didn't see my aunt because after what her husband did, I didn't see my aunt for a long time. For years, I didn't see my aunt. Um, but she was my closest aunt, though. She was my closest aunt. I remember when it happened or whatever, when around the time that it happened, she stayed with him or whatever, and I didn't, I didn't understand. Like I didn't understand her staying. Like her staying with him would bother me later, or that bothered me. I didn't know that. Mind you, I'm a kid. So her and my mom start talking again. So then I start coming around and I start, visiting her and whatever. So one time I went and I had just so happened to see him. Like I don't know, he came out to go to the restroom and I just saw him, didn't say nothing to him, whatever, just saw him. Then when I went home, I was so angry. Like I didn't realize seeing him had really affected me, but I was pissed. I mean, I came home, started yelling at my kids. I was throwing shit. I was like running outside. I ran outside because I was like, I just can't do this shit no more. I felt so overwhelmed, but it was with the overwhelm with the anger and resentment that I had toward him. And so until I got older is when I realized that my aunt still being with them bothered me because how dare you stay with somebody who hurt your niece? I don't know if you had any more. I don't know if you had any other victims, but your niece, like I am your niece, like we were close. I loved her so much. I had so much respect for her that I didn't want to hate her. But that's kind of where I felt my feelings going towards was like hating, like not hating her. And I didn't want to. I did not want to hate her. So I had to come up with something in my head, put it in my head, a reason of why she's doing what she's doing. The best I could come up with was that she was loyal to her vows. That she was loyal to her vows. And this was that thick and thin part. Sticking with them through thick and thin. This is the thick part. I'm sorry. I guess my love has conditions because I could be with you. I'll ride with you to the end. Even had to tell my kids this, and I hate it. I cannot support anyone who has touched a kid. I cannot be in your corner. I can't. Cannot. But he had somebody good in his corner because she was sticking to her vows. She was being loyal to her vows. I put that in my head. And when I'd be around her and stuff, there'd be times when we'd be by ourselves, and I would want to ask her, like, talk to her about it. But I didn't want her to feel some type of way. This, again, history repeating itself, brushing it under the rug so we don't have to deal with the emotions that it comes with. So I never spoke to her about it. I never spoke about it. because again, I didn't want her to feel some type of way. Little did I know that she gave two shits about how I felt, but I didn't know that at the time. I was still, I respect her and I loved her and everything. But like I said, this will tear up some of the closest relationships, some of the best relationships. Unfortunately, that's something that comes with this territory. I wish I could say everybody's gonna be on your side. Everybody's gonna believe you. Everybody, you're gonna have support. I wish I could tell you because I don't want to tell you something and you not have it. But fast forward, story time. Fast forward a little bit. I started working for my aunt, like helping her out and stuff. So I came and I would clean her house. You know, I would clean her house and stuff. So, but before I started, I am, like I said, I'm on this healing process thing. So I was learning how to set boundaries, stand firm on my boundaries, and don't go back because I feel that all my life my boundaries have been disrespected, have been, what I'm saying. Just not respected. And so now I was standing firm. The first thing I told him was, please do not ask me to do anything for him because I'm not going to do it. That was my boundary. That was my boundary. A week into working with her, she asked me to do something for him. She asked me to take him to the hospital or to the doctor and translate for him. Yeah, I'm not doing that because I give two shits if he lives or dies. If he was on fire, I wouldn't shit, piss, or spit on him. I would sit there and watch. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't sit there and watch, but I wouldn't shit or piss or spit on him. I would not. So I said no. So then she asked me, can he borrow your truck then? And he'll just go. Negative. No, I'm not letting him borrow my truck so he can go anywhere. So she was just like kind of confused. Not confused. She was just like, I guess frustrated. So he took her to the car. I went inside because I was still going to clean. I went inside and I was just sitting at the dining room table, and I'm just like, did she just ask me to do that? Like, she seriously asked me to go help keep this man alive. No, I felt so disrespected. I felt so disrespected. And mind you, I've never disrespected my aunt. So he comes back in. I don't know what the hell he's gonna say, and I don't give a shit. So I just when he got in my face or whatever, when he got close to me, I just told him just to let him know because I don't want to hear shit he has to fucking say. There's nothing he can fucking say. I just told him, I was like, look, for you, I wouldn't do shit. Wouldn't do a damn thing for you. But for her, I would climb the fucking highest mountain, the widest river, whatever. I would do for her, but not for you. So I get the fuck away from me. And I started cleaning. I went on my way or whatever. He just left. I don't know what was said after that, whatever. So the next day I come to work and I see my aunt preoccupied. She's doing something. I think it was that awkward moment that we just didn't want to look at each other or something. It was that discussion, that conversation that needed to happen a long time ago, but never did. So she she asked me. She was like, can we talk? And I said yes. So I sat down on the couch and I was looking at her, whatever. And she told me, she was like, what was your problem yesterday? Why were you so angry? I was like, why am I so angry? Seriously? You're asking me that? And she was like, that still bothers you? Yes, it does still bother me. That your husband molested me as a child. Yes, that does still bother me. I didn't say it to her. I didn't say nothing to her about that. All I said was, I'm going to leave because I do not want to say anything disrespectful. And I let her know that I was not gonna be able to work for her because I didn't want no problems, no animosity, no nothing. I became I became the bad guy in this one because I would not allow myself to do anything for him. I already was making up his bed and stuff because if I didn't do it, my aunt was gonna do it. And I didn't want her doing anything. She was sick. I didn't want her doing anything. So I went ahead and did that. And then when I was doing the laundry, I would see his laundry in there too. And I still did that because I didn't want my aunt to do it. That was not part of my job, was his shit. That was not. It was only to take care of my aunt. And yet I still did it. And I'm the bad guy because I wouldn't allow myself to do shit for my abuser. And that's what I mean when I say that it will tear some of the closest relationships that you have. It will. Um, but unfortunately, that's what comes with the territory. But you are strong, and you don't need those kind of people in your life, anyways. If you know what I'm saying, that's the way they choose or whatever. You can't make anyone be in your life, and it sucks. It's a if not dealt with, it's a lifetime of fucking just bad memories and thoughts that you never wanted to think of again. And I have let this affect my kids in a sense where they know, do not ask me to stay the night anywhere. We are not doing this. Don't ask me. I grew up, like I said, with my cousins. We're always staying the night at each other's houses and stuff. My kids, unfortunately, didn't get to grow up like that. Um, but if they had, I don't know if I would. You know what I'm saying? The staying the night part is a problem. And so that has affected my kids. It has affected my relationships because there's a certain way I don't like to be touched, like hugging sometimes, you know, especially at night. Do not fucking come and try to do anything to me at night. Don't fucking touch me. Don't even, nothing. Because I will, man, that shit will fucking, oh my God. But like I said, those was shit that I was having to deal with in a relationship. My partner didn't know why, I was so, why I was this way, and I've explained to some and they were like, just, oh, that's gross, like whatever, like no, nobody does that. Well, if it happened in your family, then you're one of the lucky ones. But yeah, and the others were supportive. Um, they respected my boundaries, and so I believe that you don't have to carry that hate that you have for that person that hurt you. You don't have to carry that on with everybody because not everybody's the same. Not everybody's going to be the same. But because I have been through what I've been through, I don't know that. I got to see it first. And so this is, like I said, a topic that no one wants to talk about. I wish I could sugarcoat it for you and just say, be like, yeah, happy go lucky. I can't, unfortunately, until you do the process of healing. There's steps, there's acknowledging it, acknowledging that it happened. You know, the other one is accepting. Accept that it happened to you. Accepting is not the same thing as approving or saying it's okay. It's not. You're accepting the fact that you cannot change the past no matter what you do. You can go in your tantarans outside and hold your breath until you turn blue. Nope, it ain't gonna do nothing. So once you just accept that it is what it is, pretty much, and that it happened to you and you can't do nothing about it, You cannot change the past. That's the hardest one. And then you have to feel the emotions. You have to feel that anger. You have to feel that resentment. You have to feel that, you know, whatever. Feel it for that moment, for your healing process, and then you begin to heal. I am working on it because it's not perfection, it's progress. And it's baby steps. It's having to understand yourself and your feelings and your emotions and know that they're valid and you have every right to feel that way. But do we want to carry that with us anymore? Like, I don't. I don't. I have, I want to say, I have tried so many times to forget about this. Not ever, don't out of sight, out of mind. But it does not go away. So now I'm trying this healing process. I'm trying these steps. I'm doing the steps because I want to heal from this. I do not want this to be a part of who I am today. Today, if you ask me to describe myself, I'm a strong bitch. I'm gonna tell you that. And it may have been because of what happened to me. I've learned to fucking like take care of myself, or you know, not to take no shit. You know what I'm saying? Not to believe. Just know, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone. We don't have to deal with this. We don't have to deal with it forever. You deal with it when you're ready to heal, when you're ready to deal with it, so that you can move on. Because moving on is important. You don't want this to be on your head or just bringing you down, bringing you emotionally down, like we can't. We got to be stronger than that. And I know I am, and I know so are y'all. So if you have gone through something like this, just know that you'll come out, you're a bad bitch. You'll come out better bitch. Don't let your past define who you are today because people do change. But then remember, some people don't. Don't dismiss every claim that comes to you about this just because you don't want to deal with it. Think about the child. Think about that blind eye turned. The child is hurting. Even though you may not want to believe the person that did it, you don't want to believe that they could do something like that. Do not put it past them, especially when accusations have happened but have been brushed under the rug. That does not mean take your kid to that person. That does not mean take them around there. That means keep a fucking close eye or keep your kid away from them. Simple as that. I don't understand how these women, like Maddie Soto's mom, would choose a guy over their kids. Like the dick ain't that good. I'm pretty sure your dick ain't that dick ain't worth made of gold. I just don't understand that. That baffles me because I would never do it. I would never do it. I'm not downing anybody. I'm not judging you. If you have or you are, that's you. But you got to protect your babies. So remember, don't dismiss every claim without looking into it. A kid is not going to want to make this shit up just to make it up. This is embarrassing. This is shame. You feel shameful. You feel ugly. Like you feel nasty. Like, why? No kids, they're not going to just make it up. So please look into those claims and just know that there's a million other men in the fucking sea. Learn how to pick them or don't let them around your kids. This thing with this girl, like how her mom gave so much responsibility to this man that's not her dad, and now look, her daughter's not here. These these people are getting ballsier and ballsier. So we need to bring awareness to it so that way our kids don't get hurt. I'm not saying I got hurt because people, a lot of people, I thought at first before that if the person before me happened, like, why did you say something? And maybe it wouldn't have happened to me. But then that's when it comes, it's brushed under the rug. Fuck it if another victim's at the if another victim's coming. Oh, because it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It takes longer than 2, 3 years in jail to get the help that you need. I believe these motherfuckers should be locked up for 10 plus years before they can even like think about getting out. Like, you touched a kid, you fucked up someone's life. You may not kill them, but you might as well just hand them the fucking bullets. That shit irritates me. It fucking gets me. Like, these people in these shows, like these videos, they're coming out for parole, and they will tell a fucking lavish ass story about what they're gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna be with my family, and I'm gonna take care of my family. Fool, you molested your family. How the fuck are you gonna get back? Like, these people really think they're gonna come back. I mean, anyway. So I'm just saying, be careful. And if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Check it out. Do not silence a survivor. Do not say get over it. Because if we could, we would have. Trust. Nobody wants to be having this shit dangle over their head. Nobody. So, like I said, you're not alone. You're a bad bitch. You're a bad mofo. You know, let's not let this dictate who we are today. So that's the end. Oh, and I'm gonna put some numbers if you need to speak to anyone. If you know somebody who's going through this, I'm gonna put some resources, numbers for resources on my episode notes. So please use those if you need to. Also, you can send me a DM on Facebook, Child Glass Survivor, um, and leave me a nosy neighbor story, or you can also share your experience with me, or you need to speak to somebody or whatever you want to. My DM is open. So, um, yeah, this was a tough one. So now on to my nosy neighbor segment. Hi, I'm your nosy neighbor. My grandma had this one neighbor. He was a piece of shit. Old man. Didn't have no teeth. Could walk like 2 inches every fucking foot, every step he took. He was a waste of air, a waste of space. He would come visit my grandma because my grandma would have such a big heart. She would, talk to anybody, let him in and have coffee or whatever. So whenever he would come visit, they would make coffee. One time I got in trouble and my grandma laid me down on the couch, made me take a nap because she kept having to tell me to stop doing something. And so she was just like, bring the bitch inside. So I had to go lay on the couch and I fell asleep because I was crying. And then, like, after a couple minutes, I hear my grandma open the door and I hear that old fucker talking. And so he sits down on the couch that I am. The couch is long, so he was on the other end, but my feet were facing toward him. And they were talking for a little bit, and then I hear my grandma's voice like going further and further, further and further. When I didn't hear her voice anymore, I felt his hand come up my leg, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then like he was going up my leg, and right when he was gonna get to my underwear, I heard my grandma's voice, and then he moved his hand, and so I was acting like I was turning around or moving, and I kicked him hard as shit. My grandma brought out the coffee for them to drink, and this fool got up and left. Said he had something to do at home. So, more of the story is be careful with your kids because this is a lifetime of bullshit that nobody wants to go through. I don't wish it on my worst enemy or my worst enemy's kid. So, stay safe, watch out after them babies, even the big ones, the kids, and be good. Se bañen, se tallan y se toman el agua. Peace.